Manchester City are 90 minutes away from winning the Premier League for the first time.
Goal! Breathtaking!
Champion!
93-20, madness.
We're City. We don't do it the easy way.
93-20, forever in our history. And for this season, it's woven into our fabric. Manchester, it's a different city.
Champions.
Champions!
Come and see me at West Reception on Monday.
As I told you before, we always listen to Jack, and I tell you what, I know I'm going to be there because I actually went just before the game started and got it put on the back of the shirt. So I'll be down there on Monday, and if you're around, you can come and meet the man himself. It starts at 5 p.m. right here at the Etihad. Cannot wait for that. But let's talk about the first 45 minutes in our Community Shield clash against Leicester at Wembley. 0-0 the score. Andy, what was your assessment of the first half?
It was quite open. Probably reflected a game like this because there wasn't seemed to be any structure. It was a little bit like a basketball game. They attack, we attack, they attack, with a great chance at the end. So wide open, but you can see it's slightly disjointed team. Not something that we're familiar with, and I thought the Leicester team looked more structured than ours.
I mean, it kind of was a half of some saves, really. They had that one from Gundogan, a great save from the free kick. And then, of course, Stefan at the end there, phenomenal. You kind of said we looked a little bit disjointed. Do you think that's kind of the mixture of, youth being in there, maybe not a few of the first teamers, and the lack of maybe pre-season as well, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think as well there's the players aren't up to full fitness at the moment. It's a difficult time pre-season to try and get your head on it properly, and I know the games are important and they want to win trophies, but it's a stage of the season which it's all about the fitness and trying to get better, and they're not quite there today. You can see that they're just missing a little bit, but it's another step in the way towards the start, which is next week.
Yeah, we kind of saw there, we singled out obviously that front four, and I think there's a great battle then going on the side there with Harvey Barnes. We've seen Jamie Vardy getting a couple of times. Defensively though, Andy, have you been impressed, or do you think they've not done too well?
Well, we don't want to see chances, and it's when City are at their best, they don't get to the back four, but there's probably 6, 7, 8 occasions there where they've actually got at our back four, and that doesn't happen. Balls to put in the box. I mean, I counted those 4 on the spin that Diaz headed out of the box.
Yeah.
So he's doing his job. Ilkay looks that quality player in the team. And there'll probably be 6 or 7 different starters there when it comes to the first game of the season.
We kind of also looked at the young kids that are playing that we saw in pre-season, Edozie and Cole Palmer. It was interesting because I turned to you, Richard, kind of going from what we saw maybe in the pre-season games behind closed doors, a little bit kind of less pressure. You're not playing at Wembley. Do you think they're feeling kind of the pressure of the game and the magnitude of it, and we've kind of seen that actually they have got a few things to learn still?
Yeah, I think so, which is completely normal. I think when you're a young player coming into a team, it's been nice for them being able to play at the Academy Stadium behind closed doors, but all of a sudden you're getting judged. There's 50-odd thousand in the stadium, you're live on TV, you're playing against Premier League opposition who look like they're almost up to full tilt, Leicester, so it is going to be difficult, and when those opportunities come, sometimes it gets to you, you get carried away, but it's all part of the learning process for them young players, and they'll improve because of it, but they've not looked massively out of place. They've missed a couple of opportunities, and that's the way it is.
With the kind of the formation, is that working for you, Andy? Do you think is there any maybe little tweaks you maybe be looking to maybe make come the second half?
No, I think it'll just develop as the game goes on. We're all itching. We all want to see Jack come on and we just make that impact.
Yeah.
Listen, they're playing against good players. It's a Portuguese right back, Turkish centre half. These are internationals that they're coming up against, and it's a structured team that have been together, and that looks like they're starting 11. So that's no reflection of the young lads. It's a tough ask, and they've had a chance. The movement was very clever, great move, peeled off the shoulder for the shot, and then just couldn't quite get the shots off with his left foot. But listen, it's it's a typical, for me, it's a typical game that we get at this stage of the season, and hopefully a little bit of quality in that last 15-20 minutes from Jack, and we'll see a difference.
You can see it, can't you? It's written in the blue moon, isn't it, for Jack Grealish to come on and score the winner. Kind of what you were alluding to there as well, Andy, off that, you know, if we look at kind of the players that are on the pitch now, if we've mentioned Jack Grealish, is there anyone else on the bench maybe you'd look to, Richard, to bring on at some point?
I think you're looking at the subs, probably someone like Bernardo Silva is obviously a player who can change the game. I know the manager, I think, came out and said he'd maybe looking to leave, but
yeah.
I think he also said once the players are here that he'll use them, and Bernardo Silva's never let City down, you know, so I think he'll want to try and give him some minutes to get him match fit and sharp for the match next week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Richard. We can now hear from Natalie, who is down at Wembley. Here she is giving us her thoughts after those first 45 minutes.
Time here in Wembley, and you will have noticed that I have added a rain jacket, and I've also added a jumper over my shirt because the weather in London today is nuts. It is like blazing sun where we have our sunglasses on and we're sweating, and then the next minute it's chucking it down. Now, I don't know if you could see, but just before the end of the game, the heavens opened, it started pouring down. So I put my rain jacket on, had my hood up, and then it stopped again. So hopefully it stays off while I'm down here speaking to you all. But I think, what a game so far. People often call this game a friendly, but I think the competitiveness that was shown on that pitch in the first half was not like any friendly I've ever watched. And also the atmosphere in Wembley as well. The fans were really, really getting into it. I mean, there was a lot of booing, there was a lot of cheering, and I don't think you usually get that in a friendly as well. So it feels really competitive inside Wembley. I think for me, the standout moments were obviously Gundogan's free kick early on in that first half, but also I'm really impressed with Cole Palmer and Edozie. I think their confidence is growing as they get more into the game, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with them in the second half. Of course, as well, with the hard work that's been going on in that first half and the level of competitiveness in this game, I'm expecting that we'll see some changes off the bench. I don't know if that'll be our new number 10 or not, but I think if we see 10 go up on the board inside here, the City fans are going to absolutely erupt. So, still 0-0, we're still very much in the game, looking forward to the second half, and hopefully we're going to bring home our first trophy of the season.
Hopefully indeed. Nat, thank you so much. We'll be hearing from Nat at full time. Just a question, gents, because I know sometimes what City fans can be like, you know, we're 45 minutes there, we've not been at our free-flowing best, but I guess it's important to say, like, not to worry because we're still, you know, this is in a kind of pre-season, I guess, in a way. It's not a fair reflection of where the team will be at in a few weeks' time. No,
and I think certainly last season there was a bit of a slow start by the team, but they were miles ahead of everyone else in the league, and I think similar, the players are away on international duty all summer, so it's a bit of a staggered start for the players, and today's performance isn't a sign of what's to come for the rest of the season. I think it's a start, it's another pre-season game, and it's about getting the fitness, but the performances will improve and will obviously come as the season progresses.
Yeah, and a quick final word on the keeper. We were talking about before the game, Andy, but I feel like out the 45 minutes was maybe the standout performance for City.
Yeah, I think so. You know, just carrying on from what you said before the game. So comfy. There's a pass in the first 5 minutes under major pressure, and he's actually split it on the edge of the box, put up a couple of great saves, and yeah, we've got safe hands whatever happens going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, gents, are you a fan of fantasy football at all? Do you do the fantasy football?
I like the thought of it, but I'm hopeless at it when it starts.
But I know you're probably too busy, aren't you, actually managing an actual football club?
No, I've not had a look at it yet.
Well, if that's a bit of you, we're going to be getting involved with it here on Matchday Live and across Manchester City. Now, the Premier League season kicks off next week. It's a Friday kick-off, which means you have to have your teams completed by midday on Friday. There's going to be a few of us getting involved here on the show. We're going to have a few of the guests also getting involved, and we would love you to get involved. It's very, very simple. When you sign up to the fantasy football, if you follow Manchester City, that will put you in a league with all Manchester City fans around the world. And we're going to have prizes every month for the manager of the month, so to speak, and I will absolutely be taking part. And I actually had a year sabbatical last year from fantasy football. It got a little bit too much for me, but I'm back feeling refreshed. So if you want to join me and Natalie and some of our guests, just get involved with that, and then we can now actually reveal the price of our brand new signing, Jack Grealish. There he is. 8 million. For me, that's a bargain. That is an absolute bargain for 8 million. He'll be going straight in my team. So, gentlemen, 45 minutes remain. What do you think? What do you think Pep will be saying now, just before they come back out?
I think he'll want to try and get a bit more control in the game. I think, like Andy said, the first half was just end to end. There was no real structure, and City looked quite open, certainly in the midfield, centre midfield roles. And I think he'll try and shore that up and try and get a bit more of an organisation going to set them up for the season.
Yeah, and I guess kind of Fernandinho, he's the captain of the team. He'll probably be wanting to kind of rile them up and say we can get a good 45 minutes here and try and win the game.
Yeah, they'll want to win the game. Richie's just said that if for Leicester they'll only be probably weakening the team with their substitutions, and perhaps we'll be strengthening it. And if Leicester keep the same 11, it'll be a tough ask.
Yeah.
I think if they make a few substitutions, with next week in mind, then I think they'll leave themselves slightly open.
Yeah, well, we know what we're all hoping for as well. An appearance from Jack Grealish. And could it be that he scores the winner? Well, we'll find out over the next 45 minutes. And then myself, Rich and Andy will be back at full time to talk through all the action. Thanks for joining us. Come on, City.